Hello everyone, today we're going to be working on a fun automatic project in our new Minecraft survival world. You may have seen some of my other episodes where we've made some either semi-automatic farms or fully automatic farms. We've started this world from scratch, and this is going to be our biggest farm yet. We need an automatic sugarcane farm. I wanted some sugarcane to make books so I can make an enchantment room, as well as get some early access to some great villager trades. So, once you've picked out an area where you want this farm to be, and you've framed out kind of where it wants to sit, as you can see here, it's going to be quite large. Yours does not have to be this large. You can follow these steps and make it smaller, but this is how long I'm making it. So, now that we have this framed out, we need to know where the sugarcane's going to sit. So I'm going to place some blocks, some temporary blocks, just so we can get the idea of where the actual mechanism is going to sit. So I'm thinking it's going to be 2 blocks off the edge there with a line running down the middle. So once you have those, we need to know where the center line is. So we're going to go in between the 2 frames we just put, place a block of water as our collection system, and start digging a straight line. Essentially what we're doing here is we're trying to figure out where the water stops. That way we can continue this water source all the way to the end. We want the water to take all of our drops and bring them exactly where we want them. So once we reach the end of the water source block, you dig one down and continue that pattern all the way across. We want this to start from one end of the farm, go all the way across. That way, no matter where you are, the sugarcane will drop and get collected at the end. Okay, now one of the things I forgot to mention here is you have to put water underneath those blocks. We placed them temporarily, which is great, but once you have them in an area that you know they're going to go, dig them up, place water source blocks everywhere that those blocks were underneath, and then put those blocks back. I apologize, I did this wrong myself and had to do it twice, so that's why we're speeding through it. So now that we have those blocks back with a water source block underneath, we're going to get to a fun part of placing some pistons. Now you're going to need a piston above every block facing towards the collection system in the middle. So if you made this as long as I did, you're going to need a lot of pistons. So you're going to place the piston with the face of the piston towards where the water collection system is. You can make this 4 or 5 blocks wide like I have here, and then just skip to where we go on to the next step. You can make this 2 times as long as I did, 3 times as long as I did. You can stack this on top of each other, but this is the basic concept. A water source block underneath, a regular block on top, a piston block on top of that, with the piston facing towards the collection system. And we're going to mirror this on both sides. Now that we have this, we're going to need to start getting observers. Observers is the next block underneath. Now, we don't have a lot of quartz. If I check my inventory, I have a whopping 15 nether quartz. So, let's go get some more, huh? Okay, that took absolutely forever, but now we can move on with the next step. Grab another solid block and place 1 block behind every piston that you've just placed. This is going to help us place our observers and also help us with the next step of this project. So for every piston, place 1 solid block behind it. Then, grab your observers, place the observers with the face facing the exact same direction that the piston face is facing. Essentially, we want this to detect the other side of where the crop grows, and then the piston break it. Make sure you repeat the step on both sides, placing a block behind every piston and observer on top of every piston. Once you have that done, this is going to be the final and most easiest step of the build. Some redstone dust, placing it behind every single observer on top of that block, just like so. So, every piston has a redstone block behind it, a full block behind it, a redstone powder on top, and then an observer powering that. The way this works is you're going to plant one sugarcane on the grass in front of this block, and when the sugarcane grows, the observer will detect the change, forcing the piston to fire, and the piston sending the sugarcane into the middle. There's obviously going to be some loss on this. It's never 100% efficient, but that's why we made this project as large as we did, to kind of make up for the fact that we're going to lose some. So that's how it works. You're going to place one sugarcane on the grass in front of every one of those blocks. That way, once they grow, the observers can detect change. Do this on every position available. And then for the final stage of the collection system, which will finish up this farm, is at the end of your water source or your collection system, just placing a hopper and a chest. We're going to place a chest and 2 hoppers just because we do have one block extra. You don't need 2 hoppers, you can just place one. But that technically finishes the farm. All we're doing now is making this look like the rest of our build. If you wanted to stop there, you 100% could. You can cut this farm in half and do 4 wide. You don't have to do on either side. You can just do a single side. You can make it as long or as short as you want, as tall as you want. This is stackable, but you just have to place some grass blocks. It's really neat. And all we're doing now is just making this look aesthetically like the rest of our build. We kind of like to keep this theme of, the same wood and cobbles texture, but this is just sped up so you don't have to witness me spending hours making this. This by far is one of the largest farms we have made, and it is officially now the largest structure that we've made on this world. The sugarcane farm is super efficient. We're collecting over a stack of sugarcane every 20 minutes, which is pretty darn good, and I just like the way it turned out. I think the aesthetic matches everything else. I could have made this higher. I could have added a separate layer, but, I think I'm pretty happy with it. So feel free to sit back, relax, and watch me transform this into the style that we like, and I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, so this farm by far has taken up the most time and the most resources I've ever seen or had on this build. I'm sure you can see how much effort it's taking me. I probably could have cut this out, but I think it's important that it shows kind of what goes into these builds as well on the side of gathering materials and whatnot. I'm super happy with this. I think it's definitely stands out. And as we build larger and larger builds, I'm hoping that this one looks tiny, but it's a great addition to our world. And I hope me building it kind of helped you gather some more information when trying to make your own. A lot of these builds I do are very customizable. They're very simple. I do that on purpose so you guys can enjoy it. If you've made it this far, let me know. If you didn't make it this far, that's fine too. But if you didn't make it this far, how are you watching this? I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And as always, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.